A lovely good morning to you, our viewers. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Camnet TV show of today being the 13th of February 2023. I hope you are having a lovely morning like myself. Anyway, we do apologize for starting the show a bit late, but anyway, we are back again on set to bring you nothing but the best. Later on in the show, we will be looking at the cholera outbreak in Zambia. Of course, recently we saw where the Minister of Health did announce that in some parts of the country, especially to jot it down in Vubu constituency, Vubu district rather, we did see, cases of cholera being recorded. But anyway, we want to hear your views out there, coupled with sanitation issues, and already we're in the rainy season. What are your thoughts there? But you can take part in our conversation this morning by sending us, a message on Facebook. If you're watching us live on Facebook, and those watching us in the comfort of your home, you can give us a call and, let's get part of this, interaction this morning. But anyway, before I go on, talk, later on, I'll be joined by my colleague Zipporah Mshara in studio. And we're going to keep you for the next an hour or so, where we're going to interact on a lot of issues affecting the country, talking about sanitation, floods, and so on and so forth. I am your host, Miriam Kaimba, and right about now, we go direct into our morning boost. We keep ourselves going and running for the day.
Hello. It's your boy Harrison, aka the Fitness Puppy, and I'm saying happy festival season to you. And we are here again at Chon's Fitness Gym in Kablonga in conjunction with the Camnet TV. And guys, today I am going to take you in two variations of deadlift. Apparently we have three variations of deadlift. So now here you can just perform two types of deadlift. Okay, so first I'm going to start with this usual one, the conventional one, like the most popular. So this one, I'm sure in my previous video you saw it. Chin part of your body, the chin body has to be close to the bar. Then your hands are outside the legs, then you hold it nicely, then pull it up. And then as usual, the ending part is the core as well as the glutes. So this is the conventional type of deadlifts. Okay. So this was the conventional type of deadlift. So I'm going to show you another one. So this one is called the sumo deadlift. So the sumo deadlift, stand wide, then instead of your arms to be outside the legs, now they are inside the legs. And the conventional one, you are going to pull down the bar using your back. So now this one, you are using your legs. So it's more like a squat. So you bend all the way. Then so remember, when you go up, The chest has to be out. Oh, that's all for today, guys. You've been with me, Harrison, aka the Fitness Puppy. Remember, it's about your health, and we are here at Chon's Fitness Gym in Kablonga. Say bye-bye.
On Monday, 13th February 2023, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest, Mr. Harry Kalawa, President of Citizens First.
The process might end up being slowed because of that. I think the way forward for Zambia is to begin bringing all creators on board, begin talking to creators on board. If need be, they need to begin engaging creators on a bilateral basis.
As they discuss how effective is the opposition in Zambia, and does criticism come out of jealous or is positively building the nation?
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
I hope you enjoyed that lovely morning exercise. I did myself in the background. I was, trying to do one or two things there. It can be exhausting sometimes, but hey, it's very, very important that you ensure you exercise each and every morning. I always emphasize on exercising, that we ensure we keep our body in good shape, in good health. It's very good. Even the doctors do recommend that, we exercise. A lot of people, we get different diseases without knowing that, other things are caused by lack of exercise. So it's very, very important that you ensure you exercise every day in the morning. Take about 30 minutes, do some walking, some jogging. And, by the end of this year, you'll be something else. But anyway, talking about putting your health in good shape and health, let us just see what the doctors have for us this morning before we go into other things.
Hi, good morning and welcome to the breakfast show here on Camnet TV. I am Dr. Nakuyana Mfaya. So this week we are going to be discussing a very important topic. It's a topic that is affecting many people, and it not only affects the older people, but even younger children that are around. We see them, they are taking part in this activity. So we're talking about alcoholic liver disease, also abbreviated as ALD. So we'll talk about ALD this week, which is alcoholic liver disease. We'll discuss how it comes about, what happens to the liver when you take alcohol. We'll also discuss some of the signs and symptoms that you have alcoholic liver disease and how it's diagnosed and treated, and also talk about how the complications of alcoholic liver disease. So alcohol abuse is very prevalent in our community. There are so many people who are abusing alcohol, not only adults and not only men, but even women. So both men and women are now abusing alcohol and taking so much alcohol. And we've also seen that even children are now taking part in alcohol consumption. So even younger than 15 years, and below, others are very, very young and they're taking this toxic substance. So alcohol really affects our bodies, and it affects many organs and contributes to so many illnesses and so many diseases, and the liver is one of them. So the liver is not spared, and mostly because the liver is the one that metabolizes this alcohol. It's the one that breaks it down. So the liver is the main organ that is involved in the breakdown of alcohol. So in the process, it gets injured. So today we'll talk about what is alcoholic liver disease. Alcoholic liver disease is a progressive inflammation of the liver. So when we say inflammation, we mean that the liver is becoming bigger in size and becoming inflamed, basically, so and injured. So the liver, as someone continues to take heavy or takes alcohol in large amounts, large quantities of alcohol, or heavy drinking of alcohol, this is what results in injury to the liver. The liver is the second largest organ in the body, second to the skin. So the skin is the largest organ and the liver is the second largest organ. And our liver helps to keep us healthy, to keep us alive, basically, because it metabolizes so many things. All the food that we eat has to go to the liver for it to be useful in our bodies. So the liver is an organ that we really need to be taken very good care of. It also helps to break down the drugs that we take when you are ill and you're given drugs to drink. Most of them are metabolized in the liver. And not only that, but even toxins, so many other toxins that you might have ingested that you don't even know about, can be broken down in the liver. So the liver is a very important organ in our bodies, and without a liver you can't function, because the liver has to keep your body healthy and to keep your body from becoming ill. So there are many functions that it plays, but these are some of the few functions that that the liver does for our bodies. So alcohol really is a very huge, alcohol drinking is of huge concern because it's affecting many people, and many people are now having alcoholic liver disease. And so we need to know why alcohol affects the liver and how this comes about. So tomorrow we will discuss how the liver is affected by alcohol. What really happens when you take alcohol? What does it do to the liver? So tomorrow we'll discuss how that happens in the body. So today we were talking about alcoholic liver disease and what it is. We said it's a progressive inflammation of the liver that results from excessive alcohol use over a long period of time. So the liver, we say that the liver does so much for our bodies, and it's a very important and vital organ for our bodies, and it helps to metabolize so many drugs and toxins, and also helps to keep our bodies healthy and to just keep us alive. So that is what we are learning for today. I do hope you have learned something, and hope to see you again tomorrow.
I hope you learned one or two things there. Very, very abundant healthy tips that we have continued receiving from the doctors. Thank you so much, Doc, there for that healthy tip. But anyway, right about now, we'll go direct into our money market and just see how the kwacha is performing against other currencies. So we have the United States dollar. They are buying at 19 kwacha 10 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 48 ngwe. We have the South African rand buying there at 1 kwacha 07 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 09 ngwe. We have the euro. They are buying at 20 kwacha 42 ngwe and selling at 20 kwacha 82 ngwe. We have the Great British Pound. They are buying at 23 kwacha 12 ngwe and selling at 23 kwacha 58 ngwe. That is our foreign exchange for today, the 13th of February 2023. Anyway, we have seen that for quite some time, you know, the dollar, since last week, the dollar has been trading on 19. But anyway, we hope that, as earlier promised by the United Party for National Development Administration, that if they are sworn in by 10 hours, the dollar, the kwacha would have, you know, appreciated and be trading somewhere there at 10 kwacha. And we hope that, you know, this promise will come to a fulfillment in the near future. We pray and we believe we keep on having that hope so that we can see, you know, this reflecting in the prices of commodities, where now prices of commodities are very high. You know, a lot of citizens keep on complaining about, you know, price of mini meal being high, when you talk about cooking oil and other essential commodities that, you know, basic needs that each and everyone needs in their daily lives. But anyway, we hope that, you know, we'll be able to see a massive improvement at the end of, you know, maybe later this month and this year we'll be able to see some improvement. But anyway, right about now, go direct into playing one of the stories that one of our colleagues did on the 3rd of February 2023. And later on, after playing this story, I'll be joined in studio by someone special. We'll be talking about something special that you, our viewers, should look out for. A very, very special thing. But anyway, let's get direct into playing that story before I talk too much.
Residents of Kalingalinga compound in Lusaka, which is one of the most densely populated communities in the capital city, are at high risk of waterborne diseases as they are wading in water mixed with fecal effluents. This situation has come about as a result of poor drainage systems in the area, meaning that water remains stagnant and floods people's homes. A check by Camnet News along Kapeshi Road of Kalingalinga overspill area found that the floods had in turn resulted in some pit latrines filling to the rim, while others had been completely submerged. The situation has concerned affected residents.
Ma drainage niyo shinka, then ma toilet mapitira chini niyo zula manje vija vidoti vienda manje mvingena manyumba mwa abantu soti zadwala typhoid kuli koleti na mawana bana sona choka noenda kuchani kusikutu
kudala kwenze vapushi vamene benzo upanga ma drainage nanga lero vapushi vanaenda kuti vapange pushi vasipanga ma drainage tifuna vakansela vatikumbukeko ku ma drainage.
Others say the current situation calls for urgent action from the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU.
Vasakileko popitira manzi kuchoka mkomboni yazienda u. Kairi hapa ya kungo uzunguluka yeye choka kumwamba u. Yatente mukayabwela kuno mumanyumba muzu.
Kangu wakwenda panja manzi alifulu mumanyumba muli manzi. Tikangu wanakuja panja. Manzi atuka matoilet ya zula. Tiyo kanaise tuzati wala cholera, typhoid.
Now over DMMU kuno vabwere vatandizeko issue ya drainage. Apomporera manzi. Zakwanisa bwanji se issue kuno.
Akansela na DMMU tipepa kota ndizo. Tipempa. Manzi atoka choke matuvi atoka ashitoenda matuvi ashitongena na munyumba tipempa ma drainage. Basipangeko ma drainage.
Meanwhile, Kalingalinga Ward 6 Councillor Mukubesa Nyoni says while the problem can be addressed using Constituency Development Fund, there is need to break down bureaucracy when accessing emergency funds.
Come end of this year, we should have a solution. However, this is a serious appeal for me because in the Constituency Development Fund guideline, there's a contingency fund for each ward, which is 361,000. This is meant for disasters, and a disaster is something that needs immediate action. However, the procedure is that you have to follow the same sequence of what development committee, CDF committee, local authority, provincial.
In the meantime, the councillor says there is need for DMMU to move in while his office pushes for the release of emergency funds. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
What do you know about Zambia? Musivapo chani pari Zambia. Maishivapo shi pachalo chenu. Let your knowledge about Zambia earn you up to 5,000 kwacha cash daily on the Smart Quiz. For you to be part of this empowering show, all you have to do is subscribe daily with 10 kwacha only. Dial star 265 star 13990 star 10 hash on any network. Questions will be posted every morning on the Vim TV and General Consult Facebook page and Camnet TV Facebook page. Follow our Facebook pages so that you do not miss out. On the 14th of February 2023 at 18:30 on Camnet TV, channel 274 on DSTV, 98 on GoTV, and channel 106 on Topstar. Be entertained, educated, and empowered on the Smart Quiz. Be smart.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Ubusubo, ubumwansuba, neshiwi, ilimwampela, nengala mwaposha Nechuma uwingi mwatupa Nabana ubutuma mwatupa Nangu tumitulile yawe Yonza viteti mwenfumu Viteti vitikepo yawe Kukumila nololeta mwakula Amalwele yonza mwafu Amalwele uwingi mwaposha Nechuma uwingi mwatupa Nabana ubutuma mwatupa Nangu tumitulile yawe Teti mwenfumu Teti vitikepo yawe Iwe ukumilo nololeta mwakula Mwalikula mwenfumu Mwalikula yawe Oyawe Mwalikulisha yawe Mwalikula yawe Umukulu wenu yawe imwe Teti mwenfumu Iteti vitikepo yawe Ukumilo nololeta mwakula Mwalikula mwenfumu
You know about Zambia. Musivapo chani pari Zambia. Maishivapo enshi pachalo chenu. Let your knowledge about Zambia earn you up to 5,000 kwacha cash daily on the Smart Quiz. For you to be part of this empowering show, all you have to do is subscribe daily with 10 kwacha only. Dial *265 *13990 hash on any network. Questions will be posted every morning on the Vim TV and General Consult Facebook page and Camnet TV Facebook page. Follow our Facebook pages so that you do not miss out. On the 14th of February 2023 at 18:30 on Camnet TV, channel 274 on DSTV, 98 on GoTV, and channel 106 on Topstar. Be entertained, educated, and empowered on the Smart Quiz. Be smart.
Thank you so much for still staying tuned to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. But anyway, before we went on that break, I did mention that in studio I will be joined later by a special guest. And like you have seen from the advert, Camnet TV will be having a very, very unique game show. You, our viewers there, can take part in this beautiful game show. And in studio, I am joined by Alan Mutonga, who is the producer of this game show. But anyway, before I say much, let's get to know from him what exactly is this game show all about. Good morning, Mr. Mutonga, and welcome to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much, and I'm glad that you have invited us to be part of this breakfast show this morning to briefly talk about the Smart Quiz game show.
First of all, before we go much into details, what is this game show all about? Just tell us a bit about this show.
Thank you so much. This is the Smart Quiz. Smart Quiz, just the term itself, smart. It requires someone to be smart actually in the brain, not even in appearance or in what you wear, but to be smart in terms of thinking. So the game show, the Smart Quiz, is a show that will be required for everyone out there to be part of it, to educate one another. There are so many things that we do not know as a country. There are things that you don't know about Zambia. There are things where you don't know where they are found. What happens there? What is done? There are so many sports people that we don't know about. There are so many civic issues that we do not know. We don't even know where they are found. We don't even know how to get them. So this show will basically be about that, to educate one another. Very exciting and interesting show where we will be seeing you trying to educate the other, Zipporah here, the viewers out there. But it is not only going to end there. This show, we need to also empower each other. Today there are so many things that we need as a nation. If you get, let's say for argument's sake, 10,000 kwacha from a Camnet TV as your salary, it might not be enough because the cost of living is skyrocketing. So you need an extra income from somewhere, somehow, that you'll be able to supplement your lifestyle, to supplement your budget. What am I saying? If you get an extra 5,000 kwacha, what would you do with 5,000 kwacha? It will add, of course, to your well living, the betterness of your life by increasing your income. How does it happen? For you to be part of the show, you have to subscribe. By subscribing, you dial star 265 star 13990 star 10. The 10 at the end is a 10 kwacha as your participation fee. Then hash. Then what you receive is your receipt. Then during the show, all you have to do, when the phone lines are open, all you have to do is to call. But so the question, the presenter will be able to ask questions. Now these questions won't come instantly. There are people who may be wondering, oh, how will I get this question right? How will I? This will be difficult for me. We want you to be to do a research. We want you to learn. We want you to know how you can get answers about Zambia. So you can do a research. The questions will be posted on the Vim TV and General Consult Facebook page, and also on Camnet Facebook page. Every morning by 9 hours, the questions are there. So you get the questions, find out. What you discover is what you'll be able now to help others also to learn. When you subscribe, in the evening at 18:30 hours, starting tomorrow, you'll be able to call and give us the answers. When you ask you the question, give the answer that you have, whether it's right, whether it is wrong. But if it's a right answer that you'll be giving, you earn yourself just take a little something to make, and tomorrow is a Valentine's Day, so you have something special.
Exactly. So you're saying subscription fee is 10 kwacha?
Yes, please.
Okay. So when are our viewers there expecting this show to start?
The show starts tomorrow at 18:30 on the Love Day, the biggest love.
And who qualifies really for the show?
That is interested to learn.
From as young as 5 years old, 5-year-olds are going to be competing with 50-year-olds.
Anyone.
Zambian citizen.
Precisely. Anyone who knows something about Zambia. If you can teach someone.
Sometimes I want to ask me about sports. I don't watch sports. What happens to me? Or do I get to choose the category of questions? Maybe some viewers out there are wondering.
So the questions will be posted. The questions that will be posted is what will be asked during the live show. Okay? So it's just, maybe it's the presenter who might be able to know if you truly understand the question. We'll ask you a question maybe in a different way, but you'll be able to give the answer because you have the whole day to find the answers.
Leakage.
Interesting.
You have the whole day.
I'm sure those questions are tough. Me when I was at UNZA, if you're doing law, if you are actually allowed to go with your books, but I'm telling you, if you're doing law.
Exactly.
So yeah, quite interesting there.
Exactly. Anyway, we hope that our viewers out there will be able to take part in this show, and it's quite interesting. And given the fact that it's starting tomorrow, the Love Days, I hope a lot of people would stay glued to the TV and just watch this game show, which is starting at 18:30
and whatever
tomorrow.
You win could be your present to the person you love. Could be your mother. Could be supporter.
So as in, one other question I would like to find out is, what are they winning money only, or are there other forms of gifts? Are they?
All right. So I'd mentioned. Thank you for that. Actually, cardinal question, and as a reminder, I'd mentioned that this show is about empowering. So starting next month, viewers should be, or participants should be able to look forward to greater prizes, greater and big prizes that will be coming. For example, what will you do if you won a car on the show?
Interesting.
we'll be having some monthly big prizes. It could be a plot, it could be a car. So if you win a car at the end of the month, won't you start your own Yango or Olendo or a taxi? How about that?
Quite interesting.
So people should look forward and be part of this show. Play, participate, educate, be educated, be entertained, and also gain yourself something.
A very good way of empowering people.
Of course.
Yeah.
Even as we wrap up, you did mention that questions will be posted prior. So tomorrow, what time should people look out for these questions?
9 hours.
At 9 hours on
Exactly.
Camnet TV Facebook page, as well as on Vim TV
and General
Facebook
Consult
page.
Facebook page. Yeah.
General Consult Facebook page.
Yes.
So at 9 hours, I'm going to start, Googling the answers. I'm sure I'll find them at 18:35 p.m.
Zipporah wants to win that prize. But anyway, I hope our viewers there, you make a date tomorrow at 18:30 hours and just look out for this game show. It's called the Smart Quiz. Please do look out so that you win yourself that bigger prize. Anyway, you can take your loved ones for Valentine tomorrow, being a love day. But anyway, right about now, go direct. We transition right about now into our next segment, where we'll be joined in studio by Dr. Teddy Mulenga, where we're looking at the outbreak of cholera in Zambia. Stay tuned.
Residents of Kalingalinga compound in Lusaka, which is one of the most densely populated communities in the capital city, are at high risk of waterborne diseases as they are wading in water mixed with fecal effluents. This situation has come about as a result of poor drainage systems in the area, meaning that water remains stagnant and floods people's homes. A check by Camnet News along Kapeshi Road of Kalingalinga overspill area found that the floods had in turn resulted in some pit latrines filling to the rim, while others had been completely submerged. The situation has concerned affected residents.
Madrenage niyo shinka, then matoilet mapitira chini niyo zula manje vija vidoti, vienda manje mvingena manyumba mwabantu. Soti za duala, typhoid, kulikole eti na mawana, wana sona choke noenda kuchani kusikutu.
Kudala kwenze vapushi, vamene benzo upanga madrenage. Nanga lero vapushi vanaenda kuti, vapange pushi vasipanga madrenage. Tifuna vakansela vatikumbukeeko ku madrenage.
Others say the current situation calls for urgent action from the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU.
Vasakileko popitira manzi kuchoka mkomboni yazienda u. Kairi hapa yakungo uzunguluka yeye choka kumwamba u. Yatente mukayabwela kuno mumanyumba muzu.
Kangu wakwenda panja, manzi alifulu mumanyumba, muli manzi. Tikangu wanakuja panja. Manzi atuka matoilet ya zula. Tiyo kanase tuzati wala cholera, typhoid.
Nako ba DMMU kuno babwere batandizeko issue ya madrenage. Apomporera kwa manzi. Zakonisa bwanji se issue kuno.
Akansela na wa DMMU twepako tandizo. Tipempa. Mazi achoka choke matuvi achoka ashitoenda matuvi ashitongena na munyumba tipempa madrenage. Basipangeko madrenage.
Meanwhile, Kalingalinga Ward 6 Councillor Mukubesa Nyoni says while the problem can be addressed using Constituency Development Fund, there is need to break down bureaucracy when accessing emergency funds.
Come end of this year, we should have a solution. However, this is a serious appeal for me, because in the Constituency Development Fund guideline, there's a contingency fund for each ward, which is 361,000. This is meant for disasters, and a disaster is something that needs immediate action. However, the procedure is that you have to follow the same sequence of what development committee, CDF committee, local authority, provincial.
In the meantime, the councillor says there is need for DMMU to move in, while his office pushes for the release of emergency funds. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. Thank you for staying tuned in. We've just been joined by Dr. Teddy Mulenga, a medical doctor who's just going to help us discuss the cholera outbreak in Zambia, as well as the topic of measles in the country. We're not hearing much about outbreaks such as measles. We're not hearing much about cholera. Right now in Vubwi, there is a crisis, as well as in Luapula province, where a number of cholera cases have been recorded. How best can you safeguard the rest of the country from actually having this disease? Just from the story that was played, you saw how people in Kalingalinga compound of Lusaka there have the toilets submerged underwater, and many people are not even using toilet facilities at their homes because their toilets, the pit latrines, have been submerged by floods, and this water has actually flooded the streets. That already there is a health hazard. So do call in and give us your thought. Do you think Zambia is doing enough to combat the cholera outbreak? Good morning, Doc, and welcome to the show.
Morning, and good morning to the listeners out there.
So maybe just to begin, like, just break it down for us, like, how does cholera come? What is cholera? How can you get cholera? Because I'm sure, you know, people just take it for granted that everyone knows, but the people who don't even know, some people, the other time, we're talking about corona and cholera. I heard someone talking about corona and cholera in one sentence. So I know that these are two different things. Can you break it down for us?
Cholera is a diarrheal disease, which means in the main it causes diarrhea. Of course, there are some other accompanying symptoms like vomiting. It's caused by a germ, a bacteria called Vibrio cholerae. You know, causes of disease, sometimes it's viruses like COVID, and sometimes it's germs. In this case, it's a germ for cholera. And it's transmitted through the oral fecal route, meaning if you get cholera today, it means you have eaten somebody's poop. Yes, it just means that you have eaten.
The flies come from the fecal matter.
You have eaten or drank somebody's feces. That's just the definition of cholera. Anyone who gets cholera, it means had a spoonful of some feces of somebody.
Interesting, Doc, but others would want to argue and say, but you know, when you talk about issues of sanitation, maybe basically a lot of people would say if you don't practice good hygiene, you have to wash your hands, and if you don't do all those things, that's when you can, you know, you're at risk of having cholera. But then if you say you eat someone's, maybe can you explain?
Yeah, no, you see, as you are saying, as you are rightly pointing out, it's the date, okay, that eventually gets in the systems of water reticulation, okay, how you are disposing the date that we release every day is very important. So the water gets contaminated, the vegetables get contaminated, and of course if you don't wash your hands, and there is a little bit of dirt, and we are actually particularly worried, it's feces actually, it comes from feces. And if there is something on the vegetables and you don't wash them well, you don't wash your hands, yes, you get the fecal matter inside. You may not see it, but it is.
Quite interesting. In case you're just joining us, please participate by calling us on the numbers that are scrolling on your screen, or leave us a message on Facebook. We are discussing the outbreak of cholera in Zambia. Just last week and the other week, we heard some cases in Vubwi district of Eastern Province as well as in Luapula. But while we're hearing these outbreaks, we have a lot of problems. For example, here in Lusaka, we have a lot of pit latrines that are flooding the streets. And last time when we talked to some councillors in the affected areas, they stated that they cannot access emergency funds under the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, to correct the situation of digging drainages because they have to apply through project proposals and other things. So what is your thought? As Zambia, are we doing enough to combat the cholera outbreak? So, Doc, do you think enough sensitization is being done, like in schools, to sensitize, for example, children against cholera?
No, I don't think so. There is a little bit happening, but I don't think we are doing enough sensitization in schools and the public. I don't think so. We can do better. That's why you see that we still, even in the middle of an attack like this one, 122 cases as of today, in Vubwi, as you mentioned, Luapula, Mwansabumbwe, and Chipata, 122 in total. We still have people selling food in the streets in Lusaka. And you go and talk to them about cholera, they will tell you, this is the way we feed our children.
We have a call, Doc.
Right.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. We seem to have lost that caller. Please do call us back. And maybe, Doc, there's a oh, yes, good morning. We're about to hear you.
You are able to hear me? Okay.
Yes. Can you tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and your contribution?
Okay, thank you so much. This is the voice of Mr. Kiza on the right.
It's good to know that you're watching. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning, my dear.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, I think first and foremost, the issue of cholera is actually presented by the examples actually experienced, but at the same time, I cannot absolve the fact that they are putting something wrong somewhere there to do with the local leadership, but probably the immediate supervisor of local council, that is the minister of local government. The bureaucracy, the council today have the intention bring it time, but that bureaucracy you're talking about, please get in Congo and your team, Mambo, Admin, they get in Congo Spirit, can you do some kind of great that bureaucracy? People, they don't want to be feeling all the time in the ceremony of cholera. No, please, can you do something? Also, one of those things, I think somebody's minister that has stayed around and speak 1 minute. It's always the minister of health, it's always the minister of agriculture, it's always the minister of local government and housing. So, please, that's the way I actually listen for somebody. We should not always adjudicate the people in terms of what they want to hear. And let us listen in terms of what the grassroots can say. Please, Minister of Government, now I can go and describe your authority. Break that kind of bureaucracy. We actually voted to power to deliver the government. People must be able to see the difference. Okay? So please, Mr. President, we don't get some of these ministers. If you are very good, let them be taken somewhere else. Do some reshuffle. Otherwise, you will start seeing that some other people are coming against the usual government, like they want just with the rest of food. But otherwise, no matter which reshuffle that is, I thank you. For them, on just away from the issue of equality. Number two, on the issue of minimum wages. I think about that's the climate secretary, whatever they are, who has so complaining. We must understand that is now the law and it must just follow. After I follow the talking about council. Council is a company that has been given to contract everywhere. The whole just applications are on the airport, they are manned by council. And go there as journalists, find out how much the officer really just go national airport, the airport. And find out from the officers themselves on the ground how much they are. 800. So what is it talking about? What party for this idea that if they are paid for the minimum wage, then they can do the list of local government and have the list of local affairs when they are below. That is, unfair in terms of security system. I'm saying, the public application, that's what to
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
for that contribution. Maybe I think I was actually talking about the bureaucracy involved in actually like having those villages. That maybe just a response to on that part.
You know, the fight against cholera can never be managed by one ministry like local government. You are blaming the council. It's a multi-sectoral approach. It's the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Local Government, the ministry to do with water, you know, reticulation. It's a whole complex issue. We are 58 years after independence, right? You have seen what happens in Kanyama during every rain season. So you cannot explain that by bureaucracy in the council. This problem has been there since 1964, flooding. Pit latrines are releasing their contents into the streets through flooding. That happens every year. It's like we are not looking, you know. Every year Kanyama is flooded, Misisi. And we expect to fight cholera once it lands into Lusaka. It will land, by the way. It's just a matter of time. And that's why we should prepare ourselves. Remove all these street vending of foods and everything else. You know, clean up. But at the end of the day, we have to get rid of potential problems of water reticulation and drainage systems. And it's not just a council thing, it's a whole multi-sectoral approach.
I'm going to re-echo this question once more. In 2018, first of all, when we talk about 2017 in October, somewhere there, we had cholera outbreak in the country, and then the country recorded, until 2018, recorded about 5,900 cases of cholera and 14 deaths. So right about now, we know it's in Vubi district, Mansawombwe, and other parts. Chipata. The cases are nearby, you know, they're approaching Lusaka. Yeah. Is the relevant authorities, talking about the Ministry of Health, local government in partnership with other, you know, line ministries, doing enough to work on this issue? And what would you suggest them to do?
That's Miriam Kayamba, that's it's a very difficult question.
Or maybe simply put, how best can we prevent this cholera?
Okay, fine. We know that cholera has broken out in Vubi, Chipata, and Mansawombwe, which means it's just a matter of time that Lusaka could be struck. So why don't we start now preparing ourselves by, for example, stopping all food vending in the streets? Because that's a very dangerous route. Once you are selling food in the streets, people are touching those things. There are no taps where they are working. There are no toilets even in town. So we should remove street vendors. Before cholera attacks Lusaka, because once it enters, it spreads very quickly. So street vending must be eliminated before the cholera lands in Lusaka. Apart from that, the problem is it's not a short term. The water flooding issues in the compounds. Shouldn't we now start either using tankers to drain all these floods before we have any cases? And eventually, long term is to solve the problem of flooding in our compounds. But for the short term, street vending, drain out all these floods, which are, you know, raking the issues from the pit latrines, you know, getting into people's drinking waters and all that.
Now, Doc, when you talk about the issue of...
And of course, vaccination of the population. Before it attacks, vaccinate your people.
But maybe speaking health-wise, on the issue of street vending, like, as a medical doctor, would you advise that like we allow street vending to continue, or do you think this matter has somehow been politicized? Are we looking out for health, or are we bringing in political issues into the issues of street vending?
Because we have seen of late, you know, there was a directive by the local government to say that all street vendors should move out from the street, but later on, that decision was, you know, stopped by the president until there was saying that they need to further engage other relevant stakeholders and reach at a very to find a way on how they best they can, you know, address this issue and put these street vendors in different places, to relocate them to other areas. Do you think if we say right about now that we should remove these street vendors from the street, there's an issue of lack of employment, and people say, if you're going to move us from the street, where are we going to go?
No, you know, the problem with street vending is that in the first place, it should not be there. Cholera or no cholera, street vending, the way it's done in what is this, Lumumba Road and Freedom Way, where clothes are selling here, food is being cooked here, somebody is urinating there. It should not be happening. We have markets. We can even construct more markets in the compounds where people can be selling. And these markets we have in town, they are not even occupied. So it is, for me, I think the local government minister was very right. But then I know why the situation was not carried out. It's political expedience. And that's what has killed Zambia. We tend to think in terms of, we don't want to disturb voters, okay? Voters. as if they are the only voters. So that has killed us from 1964. We didn't have street vending. These things happened later, in the 80s and everything else. So that's what has been happening. Political expediency versus health requirements. For us to have a healthy population, we have to take very painful decisions. And listening to people saying, no, I'm not to Risha Abana, it does not help you, because when that cholera hits that woman, Abana will remain alone, you see. So we have to protect the people with very, very stringent decisions. Just like we are so courageous to announce a fuel increase every month, because there is a reason why. So we should be courageous enough to remove street vending from the Lusaka streets.
Now, Doc, we have an elephant in the room, the issue of the Ncwala ceremony in Eastern Province. Is there any potential threat of this cholera increasing once we see a lot of people, gathering, drinking this water there, and all that? Is there a great risk?
Zipporah, I don't think. When is it supposed to?
I think within a month's time.
They are fundraising, right? I don't think in the middle of cholera attack in Chipata, you can hold a function. I think sense will prevail. If the cholera right now, it is not so much spread, but in the presence of an attack in any town, there is no way you can hold a public event. It is. And I'm sure that the Minister of Health will advise against that. With time, yes.
There are issues of,
you can always hold a ceremony, hold back a ceremony and hold it another time. We did that during COVID times. Nobody dies from not dancing in Ncwala, or whatever you're calling. You can't die, but you can die from cholera.
We are getting money, from tourists.
We are getting money from tourists. But they shouldn't leave us dying from cholera because we want to get money from them. No, I don't think you can hold a function in the middle of an outbreak.
But do you think there's a possible way, maybe if they start, vaccinating people, maybe they can, prevent this outbreak, and people can go ahead and hold this function?
Yeah, the thing is that as the outbreak, evolves, if cases keep increasing, certainly there will be no function. There is no need of endangering a lot of people simply because you want to dance and drink blood from a cow. No, come on.
Now, Doc, I'd like to ask this question. How advanced is our medical field in Zambia? Because the other time I heard a story last week on radio where we as Zambia are not going to be given these vaccines. Is it by the World Health Organization? Because they're saying there are other countries which have got a bigger outbreak. So Zambia currently is not a priority, meaning that whatever vaccines are in Zambia are not enough. So how advanced is our medical field? Are we not able to manufacture our own vaccines? We always have to wait on the international community to give us these vaccines.
Yeah. I know there are some countries in Africa which are manufacturing vaccines. South Africa is one of them, Senegal and all that. It's just a matter of investment, okay? Priorities.
But is the medical field, is Dr. Ferdinand able to make that vaccine for us?
We are having quite sophisticated stuff at the laboratories, but you need a lot of investment in the fields. They are very expensive. By the way, one COVID vaccine costs about $1 million to manufacture. So it's not a joke. You need a huge investment. Any country can manufacture vaccines. All you do is to invest in the field. And manpower is available in Zambia to do such kind of things.
And how does this vaccine work? Because I'm sure some people are hearing about the cholera vaccine for the first time. Of course, we've heard about vaccines for tetanus and other things, but how does the cholera vaccine really work?
It's the same, just like any vaccine is given by mouth.
Does it mean I can take the vaccine, then I go and eat food from a street vendor, or they can be
vaccinated? It's more of COVID where you're vaccinated now, you can walk around without a face mask.
You see, with vaccines, all vaccines, TB vaccine, COVID, tetanus, what. The duty of a vaccine is not to give you 100% protection. It is to reduce the severity of the disease if you were to get it. So if you vaccinate against cholera and you are careless enough to get infected, you still get cholera, all right? But the severity will be manageable, will be not as bad as the person who hasn't had a vaccine.
Does the vaccine have any side effects? We've heard of the COVID, vaccine having effects of headache, this and that, body malaise. But does the cholera vaccine have any side effects?
All medications, vaccines or tablets, including Panadol, have got side effects. What we do is to compare the side effects to the benefit ratio. And if the benefit outweighs the side effects are just mild, slight fever here and there, slight tiredness, myalgia, we call it, muscle pains, and 24 hours it's over. Why should we worry about such kind of things?
What you thought there, Doc? We have a caller. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
We are fine, thank you, sir. Who are we talking to this morning?
Oh, that's here. I'm calling you from Chipata.
It's good to know that Chipata is watching us this morning. Please go ahead with your contribution, sir.
All right, thank you. Yes, I think for me, to begin with, we should start with you, the journalist. As you go to the community, you should start with interrogation, interrogative journalism. Ask them questions, to persuade them, try to attempt to say, why do you think you have these floods? You're going to discover that the same community, they throw litter into the drainage. They sweep their dirty and throw it into the drainage. What do you expect tomorrow? Don't you see that tomorrow there will be a flood? And who is going to blame? The government, after putting the drainage. And surprisingly enough, you find that even the people who seem to be so educated, they throw litter into the drainage. Tomorrow they blame the government. What's that? So the journalists also, you should be interrogative as you go to look for news in the community. You try to attempt to persuade the community to refrain from throwing dirty into the drainage. And the other thing, I wish the point makers can come up with a system or a policy whereby health principles or hygiene should be introduced from the grade 1. They don't throw litter into the drainage. Children will learn to grow that it is wrong to throw litter in the drainage. We want to have these things happening. There are countries that don't experience cholera. But because we have neglected hygiene or health principles from grade 1, then people will do their own thing. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Quite an interesting, submission there.
Yeah, quite
Doc, your
interesting.
response.
Yeah, it's a good submission. Our littering minds must be changed.
And
our attitudes are very bad.
The other day I saw Simon Mwewalen making a gentleman in one of his videos, making him pick a litter that he threw away. I was like, okay, but why would you do that? The environment, the surrounding was very clean, Zipporah. And then the man just went there and he threw a plastic bag.
Now that time I was shocked, there was a bus in front of us and just saw a bottle, tumbling into the tarmac. I'm like,
hey, pick it up. You need to pick it up.
So this was from a moving bus, someone just rolls out of the window and they just continue.
In some countries in Europe, they charge you.
Do you think
for littering? You are charged.
There is a charge, but it's not implemented.
They charge you. And it's implemented.
In Zambia here, it's not implemented.
Even urinating, the way they urinate here, in some countries, it's a heavy fine. But also, apart from saying we are throwing rubbish into drainage systems, sometimes the drainages are not there. So it's a double-headed problem. First of all, create dustbins in the town. Everywhere, dustbins, so that people, like if you go to Livingston, Musatunya Road, every 25 meters you find a dustbin. Okay? So have those in, what is this road? Freedom and Lumumba Road. Have them first, so that people can learn the culture that within an acceptable distance, there is a dustbin. But look at our towns, they are not there. So people are just throwing freely anywhere. So first of all, let us put in the requirements and then blame them if they continue littering. But if you don't put, if there's no drainage in the first place, they will create one.
But do you think it's more reason for someone to start dumping rubbish there? Don't you think it's more of we should, have this mindset that, we need to keep our environment clean at all time? It's not about government. You mentioned earlier, it's not only about it's a collective thing. But why should people now start throwing? Do you think it's right for them to start throwing litters anyhow? Because council has not provided those bins.
Miriam, that's why the Chipataman said we should introduce classes, hygiene classes, because most of our psychology as adults, we are finished. We are useless. We are not going to be changed. We should start early, teaching the culture of cleanliness in our children at nursery school. That's what they do in England. They do that in America. They do that in Russia. They start early, teaching you that you can't just peel a banana and throw it anywhere. So.
And talking of, litter, this not only causes a health hazard, but also can cause a death. The other time I was passing at the flyover bridge at the University of Zambia. I don't know if you've ever been there, Doc, but then there's one side where there's a staircase. And I found a banana peel just at that staircase. So it means if someone just slips, they're going to fall down and even die. So that really should be a serious offense that we should attach to it. But anyway, even as we go towards the conclusion of the program, Doc, you also mentioned the issue of measles. How is the measles situation right now in our communities?
Well, again, just like cholera, it started outside Zambia, right? We had a lot of measles in our neighboring countries.
And especially Kanyama, I've heard those complaints in Kanyama.
And so far we have had some attacks in children. We have had cases of measles, which is essentially just a rash, fever, cough, sore throat, and we have had a few cases. And the problem with measles is a droplet infection, so it spreads very quickly if you don't take any measures. And it's.
We seem to have a call, Doc.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you? We are fine, thank you. You're through to the Camnet Breakfast Show. Can you tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and your contribution?
I'm going to be calling you from Dora.
Good to know that Dora is watching. Please go ahead.
Dora, okay.
The parents is that man, the advised the Minister of Government and Housing on the issue of street vending in Lusaka and some towns like in Dora. We remove this for a while, it won't be a budget. They will complain, but you are saving people's lives.
All right.
Yeah, so the best is like the old man should just be every brave to face the Minister of Government and Housing. So that is the vendors. They bring it before they are structures. Better they are removed for a while. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
I know you did allude to this thing, this statement, and advised government to say to remove all the street vendors. And you, anyway, talking about measles, maybe you can.
We were there. It's a droplet infection, and a childhood illness up to 12 years or so, and that's why most affected people are children. It's caused by a virus. And the viruses, as you know, have no cures. We only treat symptoms like fever, headache, body pains. You can't kill the measles virus. So the best way to fight measles is prevention, because you cannot have antibiotics to kill the virus. It can also be transmitted through touching infected surfaces where the droplets settled, because once the person coughs, it remains in the air for almost 1 hour or so. And when it settles down, you touch that, you touch your mouth, you can get also measles. So children infect themselves in class, either through the cough or through the sharing drinks or touching anyhow. More like COVID, almost. the way it is transmitted.
Now, Doc, we're still having these diseases, you know, I don't know how many, over 50 years after independence. Are we doing enough in our health system? Like, I've not heard of such outbreaks in the more developed world. We're having, you know, with polio, just last 2 months ago, we were talking about polio. We're having polio now, measles, cholera, and all that.
You know what we went through when we were telling people to vaccinate against COVID? You know how our people were resistant at first. A lot of stories, you become infertile and you die in 2 years and all that. Our problem here is the superstition and the misinformation. Our people are not very sophisticated culturally. So when we tell them we need to vaccinate all the children below 10 years or 12 years against measles, you see some people thinking that no, measles vaccine will kill the children or make them lame or what and what. So you know, these conspiracy theories are really spoiling the game in our society. The same thing we suffered when we had COVID. So developed countries, they don't have these, they have already passed that stage of every discovery is suspected to be, you know, a problem, like us who are a superstitious nation. So they have passed that. That's why they are able to control these diseases very easily.
Don't you think the church now should be engaged to carry out this message?
Everybody should be engaged. You remember that man was asking you, journalists, we want to see you, Miriam, when you are in Karingari. Engaging the public. The church must be involved. The journalists must be involved. The reporters must be involved when they are moving in Masisi. Those compounds. Everybody, the doctors, the nurses, we all should sing the same song, just like the way we did against COVID. Everybody joined in. Chiefs, headmen, everybody.
No, we spoke about measles. What is the treatment?
There is no cure, but there is treatment. The cure is to eradicate, right? Like malaria has got a cure, Coartem. It finishes, it kills the malaria parasites. So there is no medicine that can cure or can kill the measles virus. But what we do, measles gives fever, so we treat fever, mostly with Panadol. Measles can give you general body pains. The child will complain of tiredness. We give again Panadol as a painkiller. Cough is not so much a problem. It is soon disappears. Rash, it is not very itchy, so we let it run its course. There's nothing much you can do about it, just to prevent complications. You know.
Quite interesting. Then maybe, Doc, you can just give us some of your concluding remarks on cholera and measles and advice to people out there, as well as to the Ministry of Health in terms of sensitization.
Well, first of all, if you suspect that you are having vomiting and diarrhea, which looks like rice, water rice diarrhea, it's better you rush to a health facility. There are other causes of diarrheas, of course, so a health facility will be able to do a quick stool analysis and tell whether it's cholera or not. If you sit at home while you're having diarrhea, you sooner get dehydrated, and cholera can kill within 12 to 24 hours. Very quickly. So move quickly to a health facility. As for prevention, it is straightforward. Wash your hands when you have visited the toilet or before you eat. Wash your vegetables and fruits very well before you partake them. You know, dispose. In fact, do not buy food from the streets. Apart from stopping people from selling the foods, don't buy foods from the streets. The possibility of infection is very high. Yeah.
Quite interesting there, and this is where we come to the end of our breakfast show. We had quite an interesting discussion there, and I'm sure many people out there heard for the first time that there's been a cholera vaccine. And so thank you for those who called in to participate, as well as those who left us messages via Facebook. And thank you, Doc, for coming in to help us discuss this, trending topic of cholera. And we hope to see you next time on another topic. But anyway, remember to join Miriam Karimba and I tomorrow as we take you into other interesting topics. From us, it's have a wonderful Monday.